There was a bunch of NASA photos of this weird black thing in Earth orbit, and some conspiracy theorists were saying it was an alien satellite, but it turned out to just be the foam blanket that fell off the craft that took the photos. That's the Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory, although other than the physical appearance, it doesn't seem to be connected to the SCP. Oh, I see. No problem. That's interesting though. It's a theory basically that they thought they think it was an alien, but at the end it wasn't. And now people are like, but what if it is? Not the first hijacked satellite I've seen in SCP. That's apparently a pretty common theme. Yeah, I think one of my more liked or one of my more viewed SCPs was about a satellite as well. So yeah, it is definitely it's the first for me. There you go. But it is definitely not common compared to like some other SCPs I have, but like it does happen. It does happen. You know what also happens? Cultural revolution. I like this one though. It was fun. Yeah, no, it was nice. I don't know why, but all I imagine is that it's kind of acts like an animal, like a very like shy but curious animal, and that's what I like about it. But let's see what the cultural revolution is all about. What is the most common type of SCP you've seen so far, given you're the expert? I've seen a lot of fungus SCP, especially like fungus that spreads. There's been a lot of those. There's been a lot of like living art pieces, like Cassie and the dragon tattoo that moves and like eats off your skin. Is Cassie the correct name? I forgot. But yeah, there's like there's a lot of like art pieces that come alive. There was a couple like dimension traveling that has to do with books. The most common type I've seen is probably guys suffering for it. I mean, yeah, but that's like majority of it. All right, cultural revolution. Let's get to it. There's been a couple whales. All known instances of SCP-1721 are to be kept in a foam-lined case to prevent unsupervised motion. This case has been placed in a standard safe class storage locker located inside 19. All text produced during individual instance testing must be locked in the SCP-1721 transcript file, while all cold process outputs are to be locked in high security transcript file -A. By the way, do you guys think, I just want to ask, does it make sense to you when I do that noise to indicate that, you know, it's being crossed out? Because, like, of course I used to have my voice changer for redacted, where I would have myself give like a robotic echo, and then we have the beep sounds for the black spots. So I couldn't really think of anything else for. No, the crossed out noise is perfect. It makes sense for me. Perfect. All right, good. Because I'm also thinking about people who are not visually observing the video fully, and they just have it in the background somewhere. So I imagine like that helps them to differentiate what it means. But yeah, good. Procedural revision C97-2. In order to prevent further spontaneous declassification of sensitive material, researchers are henceforth barred from conducting any experiments on multiple instances of SCP-1721 simultaneously. All cold process research is suspended until further notice, and under no circumstances is SCP-1721 to be united outside of containment. Description: SCP-1721 is a collection of 3 spinning tops recovered by Agent W from a Seattle street magician in 1973. Oh, we're going Inception now. Here we go. When spun on any receptive surface, SCP-1721 begins to inscribe an anomalous message in black ink. Oh. SCP-1721 has not repeated itself in 237 separate testing sessions, which have produced more than 300,000 lines of text. Speaking of RSP, yeah, there you go, right? All 3 instances, dash 1, dash 2, and dash 3, will spin indefinitely until deliberately stopped. It is Inception. No instances have demonstrated their own specific style and subject matter consistent across multiple testing sessions. Okay, here we go. Dash 1 first. Since acquisition outputs from dash 1 take the form of a novel written Cyrillic in the style of 19th century Russian author, although the text of the work matches no known publication. Dash 1 began to work shortly after recovery and to date has produced 87 chapters over 400,000 words, with no signs of stopping. It is unclear whether the SCP is composing the novel or transcribing a pre-existing work. There is also a bird that rewrites things it read because it wants to talk to you about it. So this is not a SCP that's not only art related but also like basically rewriting or like writing down a book that exists or may not exist. The novel entitled "The Bureaucrat's Wife" follows the trials and travails of Ekaterina Petrova, the young wife of a disaffected low-ranking official working in 1890s St. Petersburg. The official Gennady Arsenyuk, frustrated with his low station and stay-at-home life, has begun an affair with a local artist. The developing text is available through the SCP-1721 output file to any interested parties. Dash 2 transcribes with remarkable accuracy the thoughts and internal monologues of one random selected nearby individual. Testing has demonstrated that the instant's ability has a range of about 3 meters. If no persons are within that range when the top is placed in motion, it spins in place until an individual approaches, at which point the transcription effect resumes. I always hate the idea of somebody being able to read my mind. Just because, like, let's be honest here. I would say that I'm a decent human being, but I also have moments of anger, irritation, random dark thoughts. So I would always hate the idea that somebody would listen to my thoughts and so on in that very moment of me, you know, or even like good thoughts. I would be embarrassed that somebody just knows about it, you know. Like daydreaming something and then knowing that somebody out there might just have caught what I'm thinking about. I just don't like that. Researcher Yu had high hopes for Dash 2 as an advanced interrogation tool, but field testing revealed severe obstacles to SCP use. While it is simple enough to get the object to select the proper individual for transcription, the instance records all of the subject's thoughts, conscious and unconscious, in a mass of incoherent and unconnected words. Okay, so maybe I don't have to worry too much about this thing being able to read my mind. The resulting large mass of uncategorized information requires extensive data sifting and has proved less efficient than more conventional interrogation methods. Nonetheless, a translating software is in development which would, when the tops outputs comprehensible early results, reveal repeated occurrence of redacted in subjects' mental narratives, despite the fact that no subject test would have had opportunity to meet the individual in question. I don't know if reading thoughts would even make sense, considering most people don't think out loud in text. It's more like images and vague mental connections. Yeah, I guess it depends on the person, because like I have a friend who does not think in images and stuff like that, but it does have mental connections, as you said. So I do think that there are parts that you maybe. I think with reading thoughts, it's definitely more like when your brain thinks about, like, let me think about a house, then like when you read somebody's thoughts, it's not like you read the words thinking about a house. It probably is just like the image of a house pops into the mind, like, okay, they're thinking about a house, and that's the color, that's this. I mean, there's not really any better word than reading, unless you want to say like understanding or like absorbing somebody else's thoughts, which of course the word absorb does not sound correct either, because it makes it sound like you are taking their thoughts into your own. But yeah, Dash 3. Please be an SCP that I already read. Okay, thank God. -3 has 2 output modes, both unhelpful. It alternates irregularly between providing nonsensical advice and instruction which seem excellent but prove disastrous if followed. The advice is always pertinent to the occupation of the spinner, though the SCP identifies the occupation of all Foundation personnel as nothing more specific than working for the Foundation. The quality of advice shifts from persuasively argued to totally incomprehensible with little observable pattern. Field Agent W was prior to recovery while in possession of Redacted. Instance 3 provided increasingly unfeasible proposals for new magic tricks. Since coming into Foundation hands, the object has produced a stream of entirely unhelpful containment procedures for Foundation-held anomalous objects, both real and imaginary, broken up with periods of persuasively presented by ultimately disastrous advice of very specific researchers and agents coming into contact with the instance. Attempts to use -3 to identify poor plans preemptively were unsuccessful because no means yet exists for forcing the instance to discuss a particular topic, preventing timely compilation of relevant steps to be avoided. Personnel are advised to disregard all of the instance's advice, no matter how reasonable it may seem. Additional effects. When 3 or possible more instances are spawned in close proximity, SCP-1721 carries out what Dr. J has labeled the Cole process. During phenomenon manifestation, the top sees the previously identified behavior and coordinate in producing a wide variety of artifacts. These artifacts are not limited to text and include technical schematics and drawn illustrations. Textual Cole outputs have included works of fiction as well as non-fictional documents such as phone bills and birth certificates belonging to Redacted and other Foundation personnel. Such texts have ranged from a sketch of Dr. J standing before his house, the complete genome of a previously unknown species of bird, to a list of instructions for bypassing the Secret Service and assassinating Vice President Spyro Agnew. Existing data on the Cole process is insufficient to identify any particular patterns in SCP-1721 outputs. In distinct contrast to the solitary function of -3, these instructions have proved largely accurate when followed. All process outputs are to be considered Level 3 restricted access material under the relevant RISA guidelines. See Cole testing logs for further information. The mechanics of the process, how SCP-1721 selects a subject and the source of its knowledge, etc., remain unknown, and Dr. J recommends further testing of this behavior. Addendum. Incident Cole 089, SCP-1721 produced what purported to be transcripts of sexually explicit telephone calls between junior researcher Yu and the wife of site supervisor Kip during a testing session overseen by both individuals. During the resulting altercation, testing was disrupted and several SCP outputs were damaged. Research staff are advised that SCP-1721 outputs may be emotionally sensitive, but that this does not justify unprofessional behavior during testing. What the fuck? I thought Spyro Agnew was a fake name, but apparently that's a real guy. The more you know. Incident Call 97. SCP-1721 began work on a lengthy publication entitled On the Breach of Containment, which explored in great detail various data expunged and the means of disrupting them, particularly those concerning SCP. Dr. J declared an emergency halt in testing and destroyed the pages of already completed material. Henceforth, the Cole process to be regarded as an unacceptable threat to site security, and all such testing has been suspended. Please refer to Procedural Revision C97-2 for updated containment procedures. Okay. This wasn't a nice one. This was a very interesting one. SCP Gate. Imagine being snitched on by a top. Yeah. Looks like you have become, as they say, the bottom. I'll be here all day. Howard. Howard immediately like, oh, no, I don't want to be the bottom. These tops be snitches, bro. Can't trust it. Can't trust no one. Not even Beyblades.